I think for me, I draw strength from knowing that in this life that I have a hope, I have a future. In this life that I live, there's a purpose. And the purpose is beyond just living for myself. The purpose is living up to this calling that I have to bring hope to the hopeless, to bring voice to the voiceless.
Hello and welcome back to Open House. I'm your host, Durga. Today we are honored to be joined by Mr. Alister Ong, a proud Make-A-Wish alumnus. Alister is here to share his inspiring journey and how a single wish became a turning point in his life. This episode is especially meaningful as it marks World Wish Month this April, a time to celebrate the magic of wishes and honor the incredible community of volunteers, donors, and partners who help them make come true. Make-A-Wish Singapore is a children's charity organization that grants the wishes of children aged 3 to 18 with critical illnesses. Alister, welcome to Open House. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for doing this as well. Really appreciate it.
Yes. Okay, let's start with you, right? When you were first diagnosed or, how was life like before Make-A-Wish came into your life?
Sure, happy to share that. This is called cerebral palsy. So when I was born, I did not cry and there's a lack of oxygen to my brain. So usually babies, they need to cry when they're born.
Yeah, they hit the bum.
Correct. So the doctors try to smack me many times, I suppose. But just so happened, did not start to cry at all. And sometimes I joke around and I say, maybe I thought to myself, strong men don't cry and see what happened. I didn't start to breathe and there was a lack of oxygen to my brain. So the part of my brain that controls my hands and legs are being affected. So which means that I will not be able to control certain muscles in my body. Some muscles will be tighter than usual and some muscles will be weaker than usual as well.
And what is this one thing that you feel that people might not understand about the life that you've had to lead, thus far?
I think as someone with cerebral palsy and as a wheelchair user, many times a small step could be a huge barrier in life for me. Many times when there's a small step, I'll have to make a huge detour and a huge change. For example, when I ask my friends if they happen to go overseas for holidays and I ask them when they come back, hey, do you know by any chance if that place is accessible? Because I'd love to travel that next time. And most of the times, the answer would be, oh, sorry, I didn't actually realize. Because it can be quite natural for people to just continue on with their journey, their plans, their routes on where they're walking to, but might not realize where are the lifts, where are the ramps. And it's something that's different for me in terms of a lens and a viewpoint as a wheelchair user.
Right.
So that is something that's quite important. Another misconception might be that actually persons with disabilities or children living with critical illnesses, beyond all these challenges, there are so much more abilities as well. There are so much more strength. When I was growing up, I tend to compare myself with others. And we know how actually persons with disabilities or not, children with critical illnesses or not, sometimes we tend to compare ourselves with others. But at the same time, when I compared myself with others, I felt that I was actually not good enough because I can't help to carry the chairs, carry the tables, or in school, I can't carry the books and the notes, can't play physical education and play sports with my friends. Then what can I do? And throughout life, I was very used to just receiving help from people. If I drop something on the floor, like a pen rolls off the table, I can't even pick it up. I need someone to pick it up for me. But I didn't realize that in this life that we all have, there's something that each of us can give as well. That I can not only receive from others, but I can give as well.
That's really beautiful. And speaking of giving, Alister, you're now a leader, in diversity,
Just
equity.
a servant and happy to serve and help.
You are very humble. Equity and inclusion, client solutions at Michael Page, right? And also specializing in placing talents with disability in professional roles. You also serve on charity boards and government panels, and as a volunteer HR committee member, at Make-A-Wish Singapore. Now, what brought you, what gave you the push to, want to get into the type of work or the volunteerism that you have done?
It's actually a journey along the way. Remember when we talk about me feeling not good enough and me just receiving from other people and not knowing that I can give and contribute. Because when I see, then what can I do? What can I help out with people? It was only when I went for my first volunteering trip overseas, and I remember it was to the Philippines. I was there enjoying together with my fellow Singaporean friends, and I was enjoying the food. The volunteer leader there from the Philippines, he just went around saying hi to different people because it's one of our first time meeting each other. And then it came to my turn. Of course, as a good Singaporean, what do? I paused my food first. And I said, hi, I introduced myself. And after that, we chatted a while and he said, hey, Alister, actually you have a great story in your life. Do you mind sharing with us later? Suddenly, I lost all my appetite.
Because you were nervous that now you had to face a lot of people?
Correct, yes. And so because of that, I started to think, oh no, what can I share? What can I speak? Am I able to speak in front of a crowd? And back then, I was quite a different person.
How so?
I was shy, quiet, not being able to communicate well with people, socially awkward. And even during my junior college days when I needed to present in front of a class, and when I presented in front of a class, the teacher's remarks was no eye contact. And that was the feedback ever since throughout my school life.
I can hardly believe it looking at
I
you.
know. And that was the first few times in my life that I needed to brace myself and look up into the eyes of people. And I started to share the story of the life that I had. And after the session, many people came forward and they said that they were very blessed and encouraged by the sharing.
What you've shared.
Yeah.
What change do you feel like between, like you mentioned that you felt very shy, you had fear of public. I think most of us, a lot of people have fear of public speaking.
Yes, I think a lot of us do.
Public speaking. But what changed for you? Like to, that courage, where did you draw strength to do that?
I think for me, I draw strength from knowing that in this life that I have a hope, I have a future. In this life that I live, there's a purpose. And the purpose is beyond just living for myself. The purpose is living up to this calling that I have to bring hope to the hopeless, to bring voice to the voiceless. And that really drives me forward because then the things that I'm doing is really not for myself or anything that I could gain, but it's really for the community, for the society, to see this place becoming a better place for everyone. And knowing that, it stirs a passion and a fire within that we want to see change happen. We want to see lives being transformed. And the smiles on the faces of others, it's really far beyond what we could ever receive.
Right. Now, for those who may not be familiar with Make-A-Wish Singapore, for example, could you share a little bit about that? And how did you come into contact with them, and how did that whole process come about?
For me, I had a few different surgeries in my life. One was a adductor release, and the other one was a hip dislocation. So what happened was that because my muscles were very tight and some muscles were very weak, and because of that, it pulls certain parts of my body and my bones and my joints. And they had to tweak the muscles or undergo surgeries so that they are able to put these bones back into place. And I was very thankful to have referrals from Prof. Lee when I was visiting him and having my consultations with him from KK Hospital. And he was the one that referred to Make-A-Wish. And at the same time, I have been hearing about Make-A-Wish from the community of friends and people around as well, that, oh, let's Make-A-Wish. And I thought, why not? Let's apply and give it a try and see how it goes. So then Make-A-Wish came and we became in contact with them. And the whole wish granting journey goes through a different phase. And it's really a process. It's not like just submitting a form and just typing there, make a wish, motorized wheelchair, submit, and voila, the next day, or 3 to 5 working days, suddenly a wheelchair appears in front of your doorstep. Right. It's not like that. It's not like how we use e-commerce and it suddenly appears on Amazon and how it appears on our door. It's not like that. It's really the journey and the process that is as important as the outcome as well. So for my scenario, I actually remember how I used to crawl and drag myself on the floor, then followed by people needing to push me around in a manual wheelchair. And I wasn't able to wheel myself because of the arm strength that I did not have. And so then what happened when they came over and asked me what wish did I want? I actually did not know what to wish for.
Idea. How old were you during this time?
It was when I was about 13, 14 years old.
Teenage.
Yes, correct. And that was when I just started my secondary school. And I did not know what to wish for. Because usually throughout my life, the people around me tend to make decisions for me. And it's okay. It's understandable because of love and care. And I was a child. But knowing that, realizing that I can actually wish for something. I can actually decide for something. And that's when I decided, why not? Let's wish for a motorized wheelchair.
And the motorized wheelchair, was it primarily to give you the independence that you wanted?
The motorized wheelchair was really to give me the mobility, the access, the freedom, and the independence. So that I will be able to move around by myself. I'll be able to go to school and come back by myself instead of relying or waiting for people to help to push me around. I'm thankful that people are helpful and all, but it would still be nice to be able to move by myself.
Do it on your own, right? Now, many people might think of a wish as like something like, it's just something nice that a child wants, right? But in your case, it really offered you the independence and the mobility that, is important for you as an adult from a teenage year, right? So why do you think the wish experience is so important, like for children facing critical illnesses? And, what difference do you feel it makes in their healing journey?
I think a wish is very important, especially for children living with critical illnesses. It's because sometimes during the journey of life, there might be different treatments that as children we have to go through. And at times, it can be painful, not just physically, but it will affect emotionally and psychologically as well. Sometimes to the point where we feel that life can be quite hopeless. We don't see any light out of it. And every day is just going through that painful journey. But with having a wish and with a wish being granted, it helps because it shows that life is still worth living, that there's a greater sense of hope, of purpose. And most of these wishes are actually very important and very meaningful to children. It can be something that they need or something that they want to learn. For example, learning how to do art on an iPad, to learn to create digital content. Like for me, reaching for a motorized wheelchair. And some of our children also want to have certain experiences that they have not experienced it before.
Was there a particular, I mean, you've been through a journey, definitely. And, at that time, was there a particular family member or, the support around you that actually really helped you get through this, like your mom or your dad, your helper?
I'm thankful for my family that's around me, both of my parents and my helper as well. My helper has been with me before I was even born.
Oh, wow.
So when my mom was pregnant with me and I'm the firstborn of my family, my helper came and started to be with us as well.
Wow. She's still with you?
Yes, she's still with me.
Wow.
For 30 over years.
Fantastic.
And so I joke around that one mom is not enough. I have two moms to take care of me. And really that's very nice. And I can see that there are also smiles on their faces. And I'm sure that they are happy to see where we all have been in this journey thus far.
How far you've come, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was your family, right? But behind every wish, there's like you mentioned earlier, there's like an army of people.
Oh, there's a lot.
Planning, the volunteers,
Yes.
the donors, the partners, everyone coming together to, sort of make this wish come true. Is there anyone in particular or anyone that, stood out for you during this time when you had your wish granted?
I wish my memory was great to remember everything 20 years ago. But I remember the entire team coming together from the time where they assessed and guided me along the way to find out what wish I actually wanted. To me realizing and discovering that, I can actually make a wish. Literally as well, no pun intended. But I can actually make a wish. I can decide on what wish I want. To the time where they brought me to I term it the car showroom and different ones, where I actually view different wheelchairs. To realizing that, and when the medical professionals gave their inputs, to realize that it's not just how the wheelchair turns and moves, but it's about posture. Until actualizing the wish itself. And I'm very happy to come back one full circle as well.
Right. Now, Alister, I really have to ask, you've got such a positive disposition now. And of course, given the challenges that you've had, it wouldn't have been easy. How did you draw strength, each and every day? And how do you keep positive towards a future that you envision?
I learned how to be thankful for the things that I still have. Situations might not change in an instant, even for me. The cerebral palsy might still be here, but it does not negate the fact that there are so much more things that I'm blessed with life. For example, I have a family that cares for me. I have a helper that takes care of me as well. I'm thankful that I'm able to go through education. I'm thankful that I have employment. I'm thankful that I'm making an impact. I have the capacity to give and to help as well. And I'm sure many of us in different situations, we also have things that we can be thankful for. The big things or even especially the small things that we can be grateful for. I think that's very important.
Great.
And secondly is to plug myself into a community. And for me, I'm a Christian, so I go to church. And the group of friends and support around really helps. And many of us who have different communities that we have as well.
Support groups.
And support groups, it can come from various religious organizations. It can come from families and relatives. It can come from various support groups, even in the community. And that's very important. Because when we surround ourselves with people who are supportive, who are edifying, encouraging, and empowering, it builds ourselves up. And it also then gives us the opportunity to build other people up as well.
Yeah.
And something that is impactful, knowing that there's a purpose and a calling in life.
Right. That's really beautiful. Now, you mentioned a community. I mean, you've been with Make-A-Wish as a recipient, but
Yes.
also you've given back. What does it mean to you, this family?
Just over the weekend, I was there at an alumni and a graduation ceremony for Make-A-Wish children and interacting with them, seeing the smiles on their faces and seeing how over the years that the community has really meant so much to many of us. I really hope to see this community growing stronger together, being more empowered, being launched into the destiny, the calling, the purpose that each and every single one of us has in our lives. But not only this community, but when I say the community expanding, it is not just having more children living with critical illnesses,
getting their wishes granted,
getting wishes, getting parents, but community meaning that the society
at
being
large.
engaged, part of, embedded into the community as well. And that's how the community becomes larger. It's when society at large becomes so involved that they feel like they are part of and that they belong to this Make-A-Wish community as well. Not just because of what they can give or contribute, whether is it because of their skill sets, their time or their finances, but all of the larger community and society being part of this Make-A-Wish community, knowing that when they give, they also receive. And we all interchangeably give and receive with one another. I think then that would be so beautiful.
Now, and finally, Alister, before we end, right, why do you feel that it is so important, like, to protect a child's right to dream or wish? Because a child with critical illness, like what you mentioned earlier, they may not feel hope. They may not feel like they have the right to even dream or wish for something, right? So why do you feel that it's so important to do that?
Children are very, very important. Just because of their age doesn't mean that they are lesser than us. Just because of their age, it doesn't mean that children don't have the ability or the capacity or the autonomy to decide on things.
What they want for themselves.
And it's very important to grow this at an early age, because eventually children will be adults. And so then the earlier we are able to empower them and guide them to make decisions and to think through of different choices to make in life, the more well equipped they become when they slowly transit to teenage years and even adulthood. And so having children deciding what wish they actually want and seeing it being fulfilled gives a sense of hope, gives a sense of purpose, not only for them to know that they have autonomy and agency in their life as children, but at the same time, despite of children living with critical illness, that the critical illness does not limit, does not hinder, does not stop children from being able to make a wish as well. So it's not just age that's hindering. It's not just the critical illness that's hindering. Nothing hinders. And it is not that society doesn't care that's hindering as well.
Mm.
For these three aspects, it's
Mm.
not just age, it's not the critical illness,
And it's not society.
and it's not society. We need to break this
Mm.
in the mindsets of our children so that they know.
That they have a right to dream.
Yes,
Right.
and they have a right to see their wishes come true as well.
Right. And I think that's so beautiful. I'm sure you've seen many kids throughout your journey where they live day by day, right? When they have critical illnesses and they're in and out of surgeries or hospital, they'll take it day by day.
Yes.
So I think what you've shared is really beautiful, that it gives them the courage to take their dreams forward. So before we go, Alister, do you have anything that you would like to share?
I think I would like to share with everyone on why are we doing this, because in the month of April, we are celebrating World Wish Day, World Wish Month. Actually, it should be the entire year of granting wishes and making wishes come true, but it's okay. For the month of April, we would like to encourage every single one of our viewers, our audiences, and please spread the word around as well. Come and join us to be part of the Make-A-Wish family. Many of us are blessed. We have received and journeyed through life. We have received from other people who have impacted us as well. And now it's the time for us to not just receive, but now it's the time for us to give, to contribute, and to continue to play our part in our role in society. And if any of us would like to find out more about Make-A-Wish, please feel free to drop by the website at 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙚.org.sg. Come and join us to be part of this Make-A-Wish family, and let us continue to fulfill the wishes of our children.
Thank you so much, Alister, for joining us on Open House today. It was really an insightful, very eye-opening conversation. You've showed us how different people lead their lives and the challenges that you've gone through as well. And really, thank you so much. And thank you for everyone for tuning into this episode of Open House. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it and, leave suggestions in the comments for future guests. And of course, follow us on our socials for more updates. Thank you.